Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and it looks like Spider-Man has kind of came back to Marvel. Yeah, so if I I wasn't here, I wasn't able to do this, so thanks to Navi who actually posted up something. But anyways, yeah. So Spider-Man has is now able to show up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's not really back to Marvel, but at least we're able to see him in the cinematic universe, and maybe we'll have promising future videos of Spider-Man to come. But anyways, here's a little rundown. I'm gonna have many videos talking about the Spider-Man news because I have missed so many, along with, of course, many other dudes that are casting and giving their own opinions. I decided why not also do those too, and I'm adding those in. So this is going to be the first one, and there's going to be like many more that's going to come along the way. But anyways, here's the first wave of the news. So the first fact is that in July 28th, there's going to be a Spider-Man film that's going to be produced by Sony or distributed by Sony, but they actually will be in talks with Marvel. I do have to admit that there's a previous one I did talk about where they actually went to Brian Michael Bendis, and actually asked, should we do the web shooters or should we not do the web shooters? And they actually got a nice result out of it. They actually went to him to talk. I mean, you would figure that if they actually had that wave already lined up, and also let's not forget that in Avengers, they did kind of was like, hey, we're going to put Oscorp building in there. We're thinking about that. Do you have your Oscorp design finished yet? And they finished it a week later after they finished the movie. So it's kind of like, oh. But of course, at least the good news is that if that Oscorp building was in Avengers, ooh, that's going to make this very hard, because then you have, then the current franchise that's now dead, you would technically now have to figure out how to make it better than the first two movies. I mean, that's going to be hard. But of course, I would say one thing is that if they were able to get the Oscorp building and it wasn't finished yet, well, at least the good news is that they'll have that design to work with, and it'll be kind of different from what you see in Oscorp in The Amazing Spider-Man. But of course, they could have done it. Technically, they could have done it. They could have just said, okay, we'll just send the building there, and then the design will look like the design in Amazing Spider-Man, but it'll look more advanced. So basically, they can come with the idea of, well, that was what the building looked like during the invasion, but because, off screen, the Chitauri kind of destroyed that building, they had to change the building, do some renovations, and now it looks different because, well, the Chitauri. See, look at that. Is that so freaking hard to figure out? So anyways, so they're moving the Thor movie, and the Thor movie, Ragnarok, will be moved to something else. I think it's moved into November, while Spider-Man is now in July 28th. Of course, lots of people are like, oh my gosh, this is going to be bad. I mean, there's some people who are pissed off by the moving, but the thing is, it's like, they learned their lesson from what happened with Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk. The fact of, well, technically they're in a better position than they were because that was their starting point. Now they're in a better position, but now it's kind of a little bit messed up because if they did keep it in July 28th, now you have Spider-Man and Thor Ragnarok both on the same day. That's going to be a fight. There's going to be a fight because then, I mean, maybe some people will actually be like, okay, we're going to go to Thor 3 Ragnarok, then we're going to get out of the freaking movie theater, then we're going to buy tickets to Spider-Man, and then there we go. I don't know anyone who's like that. Sadly, I don't know anyone who's like that, but hey, I mean, why not? Well, anyways, here's the details. So the details is the financing, the distribute, and also the ownership of Spider-Man will still be in Sony's possession. So when it comes to Spider-Man, they'll get like a nice little cash payoff. But it'll only be them. That's the other part. Is that it'll only be Sony who actually will get money from the Spider-Man films, while Spider-Man showing in cinematic universe, that will actually be Marvel's money. But at least I think something about the toys, they might share on that now. So, next up is Sony has the last creative say for casting and maybe for the movie. But for right now, I heard for casting. So, that's not really good. Well, at least the good news is that for right now, it's on casting. So, I guess it's okay because everyone was okay when they first got Tobey Maguire. Everyone was like, sure. And then when Andrew Garfield came, they all were like, oh my gosh, yes, it's a great idea. So that means the next person that they choose and Sony actually will have creative say, chances are that means that that Spider-Man might be worthwhile as well. But of course, you have like many people that they're sought after, from Logan Lerman, Dylan O'Brien. You also have Freddie Highmore, Hansel Elgort, Taron Egerton. Yeah, so you have like a few people who are actually being sought over by Sony right now. But anyways, like I said, Sony Pictures and Marvel can integrate vice versa. So for right now, you have Sony who's actually able to use... No, yeah, I'll start with that. ToQger. I know, they ended and now they're waving goodbye. See ya, ToQger. See ya. But anyways, for Sony, they're able to use one of the characters from the cinematic universe. I don't know which one. I don't know what they're going to choose. But for right now, they actually have the option to do that in one of the new Spider-Man films that's going to come out. And Marvel has also vice versa, meaning that they're able to use Spider-Man, and I hope to good gracious that they'll actually do Spider-Woman as well. That's one thing. I mean, if they're not going to give you the rights to Spider-Man, please tell me at least you have the rights to Spider-Woman, because that's one of the characters I kind of want to get into and kind of want to know about, so I would really like to see her in a movie. Yeah, that's one thing I would really push for. But of course, I'll put down below, maybe there's freedom for Silk. Maybe Silk will be able to come in the Marvel Universe. Ben Reilly might actually be able to show up eventually. And there's like many other people who they could do it. So next up is that Sony was crumbling. Yeah, they seriously was. They seriously was. And the Spidey Summit was the deal. That's basically what's going on. The two studios sharing is a start. Yeah, I think that's a start. Hopefully, which I was kind of hoping that this was going to happen for the Amazing Spider-Man 2, or at least the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, is that since Gwen Stacy, you killed her off, and you actually showed Days of Future Past at the end. That was your end credits, even though it wasn't really your end credits. But hey, since you guys are in talks, since Mark Webb was in talks with Fox, you would figure that eventually they'll be able to intertwine each other. So that means that maybe down the road, I would love to actually see the relationship of Peter Parker and Kitty Pryde. I'm just saying. And plus the new actual movie now, because previously, since X2, you had Kitty Pryde and you had Bobby Blake. They both were actually kind of dating, and Rogue got pushed away. But since they restarted the whole entire franchise, quote unquote, yeah, you saw that at the end you had Iceman and Rogue together, and you had Kitty Pryde all alone, or technically she was kind of with, what was his name? Colossus? I think that was his name. Yeah, so maybe they were just working together. Maybe they were just teaching together. That's all. So that means that, hey, you can put Peter Parker in there. Yeah, go do it. Yeah, Kitty Pryde, Peter Parker, please. Do it for at least like 1 or 2 movies, maybe 3. That would be an interesting relationship to do. And no one did it before, so there you go. But since it's going to be a brand new franchise, and I don't think they're in talks anymore, even though they weren't talks in the first place. Yeah. Last thing to talk about is they could usher in new heroes now, new young heroes. Because since they got Spider-Man now, Marvel's able to have younger heroes in their movies. Which I kind of don't remember what that meant, but yeah, you're able to have younger heroes. Well, anyways, that's about all for this news for my catch up. So, I'm webbing out. Peace.